Hallelujah.
Amen.
Today our topic for exhortation is love God, not money. My first Bible verse will be from Matthew 6 verse 24. It says, "No one can serve two masters. Either you will hate the one and love the other, or you'll be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money." My first point is that God moves us away from the path. Money moves us away from the path of God. The more you love money, the more you stray away from God. This is because to love money, you must stray away from God, as the Bible verse says that you cannot serve two gods. And because of the innate greed that humans have, we are most likely to choose money, as money brings power, fame, glory. Some people want to have, especially because obviously they want to show up to their friends or show up to their family members, because you can see the money physically and not God. So people may argue that, oh well, right now, right here, I can see the money physically, but I can't see God, so therefore I don't believe in him, I'll choose money. But you have to remember, just because we can't see God doesn't mean that he doesn't exist, and we have to put our faith and trust in him. My second point is that money can't buy happiness. When we concern ourselves with the material world, we are easily drawn in by the deceitfulness of wealth. That's in Mark 4 verse 19. Thinking that we'll be happy or fulfilled or content if we only had more of whatever we're chasing. This is a lie from Satan. Satan wants us to be chasing something that he knows will never satisfy us, so we'll be kept from pursuing the true and one God, the only thing that can actually satisfy us. Luke 16 verse 30 says, we cannot serve both God and money. We must seek to be content with what we have, and materialism is the exact opposite of this. It causes us to strive for more and more, while telling us that this will be the answer to all our needs. The Bible tells us that a person's life is not the abundance of the things which he possesses, Luke 12 verse 15, and that we are to seek the kingdom of God and his righteousness, which is Matthew 6 verse 33. My third point is that materialism destroys our connection with Christ. So like obsession or fascination with anything other than God is sinful and displeasing to God. We are to love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your might. That is Deuteronomy 6 verse 5, which is according to Jesus the first and greatest commandment. Therefore, God is the only thing that we can and should occupy ourselves with. He alone is worthy of our complete attention, love and sacrifice and service. To offer these things to anything or anyone else is idolatry. In conclusion, money can never love you back, but God can. Happiness is not achieved by getting, but rather than giving. And no matter how much you accumulate, it will never satisfy you. You will always want more. But when you recognize that God is your source and can give you without worrying about your own needs, you can enter into a great freedom and joy. Thank you.
So I'm going to be talking about an example in the Bible where someone chose to love money more than they loved God. So I feel like a good example of this is Judas, when he betrayed Jesus and he chose to tell the people where Jesus was and in exchange get 30 pieces of silver. I feel like this, Jesus brought the men to where Jesus was and he kissed him to show that that was Jesus. And even though Jesus trusted him so much, he still betrayed him and led to Jesus' crucifixion. And I feel like this is a really good example because it shows that Jesus chose money over God, and it shows that he chose to fulfill this desire of having money, just something that's very temporary, over someone that was a really good friend of his. And he did this regardless of his relationship with Jesus because he craved money so much. And we see later on that he regretted it, that he ended up taking his life. And so it shows that we shouldn't fall into temptation of striving over something so materialistic and temporary, such as money. And because even though Jesus thought that he would be happy to receive it, the guilt that he felt for betraying Jesus outweighed all of the feelings of having the money. And so it showed that he didn't even end up enjoying the money that he betrayed Jesus for, that he ended up taking his friend's life for. He didn't enjoy the money because he felt so guilty. And it shows that whatever we do to try and achieve such materialistic things, it will never fill that hole in our heart that God can fill. And we should try to realize this, that these worldly things are all temporary. Like, we're not going to take them after we die, so we shouldn't try to live a life filled with them. We should try to live a life filled with God instead. as God is the only constant thing in our life. God isn't temporary. He's always there for us. He will never betray us or make us feel like He's not there for us. And He will never change as well. Just like other people change, everything around us changes, but God is the only thing that never changes. And so we should remember that God is always in our corner, even when the whole world may turn against us. In the Bible, we see so much people that are always advocating for God and no one believes them, and yet God was always there for them and didn't let any harm befall upon them. And we should remember that. I remember that God is always here for us as well, and that we shouldn't fall into temptation like Jesus did, and we will pay the price and we will suffer the consequences. And so we should remember to choose God always over money or any other materialistic thing in the world. Thank you.